So this is the opening leg of the pick six. And to me, particularly given how competitive the subsequent races are, that this is maybe one to lean on the most heavily.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Coastal Boys. Myself, Andrew, and co-host Mark Van Deventer. Welcome, Marcus.
Thanks, Andrew. Great to be on the show again. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, nice to be back at Kenilworth after a month hiatus at Durbanville. We're on the winter track, and so that means a short running of 450 meters to those that are not quite sure of how the track runs. So it does pay to be a bit handier and not too far back.
Yes, that is the right profile. Just monitor the conditions on the day because it's been unusually dry, and the weather's currently sunny. But if it rains, it might cut up a bit. But certainly, if the track is running relatively quick and with the short straight, you don't want to be giving too much start.
Yeah, and also, if generally when it rains, the north wind blows, so it's a tailwind. So it'll change the whole dynamic as well of
Yes, important.
other than the southeaster, which they run into the teeth of the wind. But let's begin at the beginning. Race number 1. Welcome to Kenilworth, Maiden Plate for all maidens over 1,000 meters. The betting is as such. The first time a wreath of snow, even money, backed in from 15 to 10. El Cohete is drifted from 18 to 10 to 5 to 2. Rust Never Sleeps, great name, 5 to 2. 16 to 1 and bettor the rest. Away you go, Marcus.
Yeah, look, it all hinges on Wreath of Snow. 9 million purchase, impeccably bred Vercingetrix out of Snowdance, who was an absolutely outstanding race mare. Of the horses that have run, Andrew, none of them have shown anything too flashy. I would oppose El Coet, who tends to stop. I see there is a change of gears with the compression marks going on, but will definitely need to boost its finish. Rust Never Sleeps has got an improving profile, so that is one to be taken into account. And I think Bolero is the wake-up horse in the race. That's number 7, a Rafif colt out of a VAR mare, so there's plenty of speed in that pedigree. But if Wreath of Snow runs anywhere close to expectations based on such regal blue-blooded breeding, then could well make a winning debut. That would be my a short preview. Obviously, you need to check out the prelims and see how the horse moves, and then monitor the interbet exchange. But he won't have to be too flashy to see off this lot in the open.
Yeah, 100%. He's the most expensive yearling ever sold. It was another horse that was bought for 9 million as well. Do you know its name? By Mike de Kock, a horse called Misaki. A couple of years back. So with inflation, I'd say that's worth more now. That was a bigger spend than Wreath of Snow. And El Cohete, do you know what it means? Hasn't lived up to his name just yet.
No,
Means
please
the rocket.
reveal.
The rocket. This is more a Shuri at the moment. He stopped.
Yeah, he lives up to his name, Andrew, for the first 600 meters.
Then he seems to flounder. The parachute comes out with 200 meters to go. But he does have Keegan de Mille on board, who's quite strong. Let me just get back to the trainer's comments. 2 positive comments from Justin Snaith about their horses. They have the favourite in the next as well. Aretha Snow, smart colt, will be in the shake-up, 1 to follow over ground. And then we move on to race number 2. I'm just going to preempt it. Number 1 over my shoulder. It's type filly. Will go well on debut despite the trip. You mentioned the new paraphernalia on number 1, El Cohete, but also to mention there are blinkers. Is it a blinker or blinkers? I don't. It's one of those because it is one piece of equipment. Blinkers on Rust Never Sleeps, and for me, that's probably the horse to beat. My rumor mill has told me that Wreath of Snow is nothing special at this stage, and will need further. But they have put their money down. As you say, it doesn't have to be too crack to beat to this field. They've had a few starts, and I mean, Al Qaeda's had 5 starts, but back to the the hard ground. Going is good, so it'll be a different proposition. We'll lead, and it'll just be the others will be catching. Stallgate 1. Let's move on to race number 2. Lucky Fish, Book of Poseidon, Maiden Plate. Fillies and mares, we step up 200 meters over 1200 meters. The betting is over my shoulder from 2 to 1 into 13 to 10. 5 to 2 Sabre Wing, Slight Drift. 6 to 1 Rock the Road. 7 to 1 Mind Over You. 12 to 1 and Bettor the Rest. I see Des McLaughlin has five runners in this race. I'll start at the beginning, the favourite, Over My Shoulder. Again, my guys tell me this is a decent sort. There has been money, and I'm expecting a massive, massive run from Over My Shoulder. I think we'll probably race handy if gets away with Gavin Lorena on board. Probably has to beat number 2, Sabre Wing, the one that brings the form into the race from the Juliet of Verona run. Andrew Fortune on board. This horse came from an impossible position last time on debut. Came from last and finished 3.5 lengths behind Juliet of Verona. Wasn't fancy that day. Started triple-digit numbers, over 100 to 1 that day. And that's always a worry for us. We have spoken about the prices before.
Yes.
But there are a couple that she met on that day, and actually she's a whole second quicker from 400 to finish than One Step. Royal Emulation from the McLaughlin yard. The other one in the betting is the older filly, Rock the Road. Ashton Aries on board. Waited quite a long time to bring this one to the track, and she's run better every start, and I think she'll definitely be in trifectas and quartets. Again, all about the first timer and the fast finishing Andrew Fortune on number 2, Sabre Wing. But from what I'm hearing, I think this will be going to the first timer. Any thoughts
Andrew,
from your side?
Yeah, just a intriguing question. Are you aware where an owner has had more than 15 runners on the same day with a single trainer? Because that's the case with Denis Le Breton, who's a Mauritian businessman and passionate racing man, and he's invested in his Mondin International stable that supports the Cape racing, though they do occasionally travel elsewhere. They took that top sprinter Jet Force up to Durban. So yeah, with Des McLaughlin, Denis Le Breton has got 15 horses running on Wednesday, and you noted the fact that 5 of them are stepping out in race 2. That's pretty unusual. I mean, it could be some sort of a record.
Unaware, but I should imagine it probably would have happened in a place like the old Kimberley racetrack, or even in Port Elizabeth, perhaps.
Yeah.
Because there are some owners there own multiple horses, but 15 runners on a day in 8 races. That
With the
is
same trainer.
unbelievable. With the same trainer. And also, they're not really homebred. They're all purchased. A lot of it's different if they're homebred. I mean, we've seen from the Cactus Yard, we've seen like 8 runners from the Cactus Yard, but they're mostly homebreds.
Yeah.
In Quebec. But that's,
Yeah.
I mean, he spent money here, but I don't think he spent as much money on his 5 as what number 1 cost. So,
Yes, that's true. That's
is
true.
there value in quality or is there value in numbers? Let's hope his
Yeah,
horses all run well for him. What did you think? I mean, the one I didn't mention is number 3, Mind Over You. SM Racing also have quite a few races. James Crawford, Cabela Mutz and Johannes come down to ride this. Chip Pace on debut, but also was 25 to 1 on debut behind them one. Fourth behind on World of Secrets.
Yeah.
Any thoughts or any pearls of wisdom?
I'm pretty much in sync with you in this race, Andrew. Sabre Wing, that was a nice debut because he quickened up 22.4, the come home sectional. The Mind Over You run to World of Secrets is also pretty decent. Thought Rock the Road is maybe a place contender as an older filly. Royal Emulation also in the mix, likely to improve, but again, you noted the fact that it was comprehensively outfinished by Sabre Wing, and maybe Hurricane Page with the claiming apprentice Bungani, who's a very capable youngster. That might also be able to get into the fray if there isn't a track bias against those horses drawn high up the straight. But yeah, everything does hinge on the capabilities of the Vercingetorix filly from Snaith Racing. And Gavin Lorena's very astute. He's a very cagey jockey. Tactically, he's very aware. So, and he's, clearly means business. He's got a strong book of rides. He's a high percentage rider as well. So, yeah, over my shoulder is one to keep on side, one would think.
Right, let's box on to race number 3. We have Join the Passion Maiden Plate for all maidens. We're back an extra 200 meters again, over 1,400 meters. We have 7 to 10 African Wild Dog. 7 to 2, it's good, it's nice. Something this reminds me of Chicken Licken when I hear that. I don't know, maybe from the old days. 7 to 1 Zanfan Morris. 8 to 1 Big Deal. 16 to 1 and Bettor the rest. As we mentioned, we talked about Denny Le Breton having 15 runners. Justin Snaith's got the first 4 favourites on the card in the first 4 races. And
Yeah,
this is the third one. And I think you have a strong opinion on this, don't you, Marcus?
I do. I think African Wild Dog will win. Look, I wouldn't be thrilled about taking 7 to 10, but I know many of the followers like to hook horses up in multiples or maybe are pick 6 players. So this is the opening leg of the pick 6. And to me, particularly given how competitive the subsequent races are, that this is maybe one to lean on the most heavily. Run out of it at its penultimate, and then a good most recent try over the course and distance, when outfinished by the rail-hugging Uncle Sam. Speed figure was good. The come home sectional was certainly good enough to win a maiden. So for me, African Wild Dog has shown enough that he's poised to exit the maidens. It's good, it's nice. On collateral form is right in the mix as well. I think Zanfan Maurice on its penultimate start would have some sort of a claim. But other than that, the race is a bit thin. I think that African Wild Dog should get a good trip drawn towards the inside. He's got sufficient experience, and based on my figures, he's plenty good enough to win a maiden at the Cape. So you might want to monitor the Interbet exchange if he does drift a bit. Who knows, then that might become more appealing as a fixed odds play. But I would suggest that he's got very strong credentials and shapes up as a banker in the exotics.
The only little slight niggle in my back of my head was that he did drift from 15 to 10 last time out to 5 to 1. I agree with you completely. I think he's got the solid enough form. Also, that I thought would run second would be number 3, Zanfan Morris. Didn't act in the yielding last time. And I think now back on a firm track, Keegan de Miller on board. I think that's going to give the most cheek, if there's any cheek to be had. Big Deal's had plenty of runs. It's good, it's nice. Vaughan Marshall Yard at the stage hasn't kicked in yet, and they've been a bit quiet. Same as the Stain, recent pitch Stain are the 2 cold trainers in Cape Town at the moment. Let's hope they can find a few winners. I mean, on collateral form, it's good, it's nice, and the favourite should hold hands to cross the track. I mean, from their last run behind Uncle Sam. But then he did fluff his lines behind Aqua Kalida. But it was the Langerman. I mean, a massive step up in trip from 2 juvenile and a maiden juvenile plate, you know what I mean, up to the Langerman in Group 1. I concur. I think on natural progression, I mean, the favourite should actually win this quite easily, and I think Zanfan Morris a place for me. We move on to race number 4. Join the Racecourse Turf Club Maiden, again over 1,400 for fillies and mares. The betting is
another Snaith favourite.
Another shorty, 7 to 10 odds and evens. 7 to 1 Macro Gravity, 8 to 1 Interbendy, 14 to 1 and Bettor the rest. Another one that has solid form, number 2 odds and evens. Gavin Lorena on board for Justin Snaith. Has led the last 2 starts, even though being slow away on his penultimate start and early doors. His first 3 starts has been slow away. I mean, I think this is his 5th jockey in 5 starts. So what are they trying to find? The jockey for the horse or the horse for the jockey? I'm not quite sure. I mean, another one that has led and deserves to be a short price favourite on the field that he's taking on. There's a horse here that I think would probably be the most expensive horse in South Africa, but hasn't brought her form. Kingman out of Kind of Beautiful, out of a Frankel sire. I mean, imagine what that would cost to purchase. That's amazing. But she hasn't found the right moves yet to put them in front of each other, and she has struggled on both starts. I've put up a horse each way. I just thought, we mentioned Interbendi first, Pete Steyn. St. Henry's another jockey that's quite cold. Has had 2 starts over 1400, been just behind them, another one that's slow and has played up at the gate every time. I've gone for the horse that's drawn quite wide. Macro Gravity. Candice Bass and Mugadla comes down from Natal. Glad to see he's travelling and has 5 or 6 rides on the day. The only worry for this first Gettrick filly is that she's drawn 11, but she does close, and I think there'll be enough pace in the race for her to sit just off them and finish at the end, taking 6-4, place her, then 7-10 to win the favourites. I think there's a bit of value in a race that doesn't look too deep. It's either those two, or I don't think you'll find the winner in the race. That's the kind of you're either going to get a bomb or you're going to get the fancied runners, and that's how I see the race. And I'll put up an each way bet. The slight reservation about the draw, but I just think the price is impacted in that, and I think I'm expecting Macro Gravity number 11 to come forward from the Spanish World Run, and expecting a run, and hopefully she can take on the favourite, I think, who deserves to be favourite. And that's about the race for me. Have you found anything that you might tell us about?
2 against 11. That's the short version, and I think tactics and pace will be decisive. If odds and evens gets away with some tepid early fractions, then may well be able to go all the way with Lorena dictating. However, I do think that the one that you on, Andrew, is well spotted at the price, because finished nicely. That closing sectional was an energetic effort and very, very nicely bred. The Bassers actually trained the dam, Lou Voila, who was quite accomplished. And obviously with First Gettrix as the champion sire. So that July run was its first time of really showing anything of significance. I would expect, particularly with the Bassers' patient methods of bringing horses along gradually, that Macro Gravity should make significant improvement. Definitely a live runner. I think pick 6 players and people taking jackpot should put in both. And it will just depend on the pace. If odds and evens gets away with shaking loose on the lead, and Lorena may be able to go all the way, but if Macro Gravity is in contention at the top of the straight, more powerful finish may enable him to run down the favorite. I couldn't really find anything else. Interbendi is very, very moderate. And Glenn Kotson, you're talking about informed trainers. He's actually been doing very well with his operation around the country. And Moonshine Bay on its penultimate start got a speed figure which is nothing too remarkable, but certainly good enough to be a contender in a field like this. And with the claiming apprentice, maybe Moonshine Bay is one to use underneath in tries and quartets.
Yeah, and also, sorry, just to interject there was quite a lot of shrewd money for Macro Gravity last time. So obviously has improved the run. Should back it from just over 12 to 1 into 33 to 10. And odds and evens went the other way. That was originally favourite, and I think started second favourite on the day. Out from 33 to 10, out from 16 to 10 all the way out to 5 to 1 at one stage. And I think one will be leading, and let's just hope we catch quick enough on the day.
Yes. It's going to be a test for the jockey and Magudla, because Kenilworth is a deceptively tricky track to ride. If people are watching from afar, they say, gradual bends, a wide straight. It's not too undulating, at least around the turn. But there's subtle nuances and very deft timing is required. So I don't think he's ridden in at Kenilworth much before. So he'll, it will be a challenge for him to judge things right. But he's a very, very capable jockey, and maybe this is part of him adding to his experience and repertoire.
Yeah, especially being the winter course for that 450 meter running. Does catch out some visiting jockeys. I know Michelle, she had left her short, but she did struggle initially, but then she seemed to find her feet right at the deck. Let's move on to race number 5. Stay alive. Bet with the tote. The Sierra ZA, class 4 for fillies and mares. We stay at the 1400 meters distance. The betting is, I have been backed in number 4 from 5 to 1 all the way into 3 to 1. Hampstead Heath, 4 to 1. Una, the unicorn, I think you fancied this once or twice before, 5 to 1. 6 to 1, Take It as Red. 6 to 1, Dream Searcher. 7 to 1, Our Stedford. 10 to 1, and Better the rest. Number 7 can't win, as is a non-runner. I'll give the easy races to you. Away you go, Marcus.
Well, I've put together a short list of 4, but well, with some hesitancy. Trepidation. 6, 10, 5, and 4. That is South of France, Una the Unicorn. 5 is Hampstead Heath, and 4 is a Mice. I'll just go through their credentials. South of France, I think, should run nicely. Last time, not the best, but was slow out from a wide draw. So with a more alert jump, should get into the race. And has speed figures in the high 80s, which is about par for this class, and is generally very consistent. 10, the Unicorn really caught the eye last time. Made a big move in the stretch, having been, cold from a wide draw at Durbanville, and on back form should be very competitive. Her rating, I should say, has slid down. And remember, we landed a touch with Cliffscape at the last meeting, and they met in March of 2025 and were basically right next to one another. And so, if you put Cliffscape in this race, then I think that would be a principal contender. So the Unicorn, second run after a break, liable to step up. Justin Snaith has actually been doing very well with his string, both in Cape Town, which is run by his dad, Chris Snaith, very, very experienced horseman. And obviously, Justin has been doing particularly well up in Durban. 8 on 18 came to light. That was a big win over See It Again. So, the Snaith Racing is in form, so you've got to factor that in. Talking about informed trainers, Adam Marcus also red hot. And, his strike rate when he puts on Craig Zaki or Keegan DeMello is exceptionally high. So for that reason alone, the mare Hampstead Heath must go in. Also has competitive speed figures. And Amaya does have my top speed figure. Who earned that when beating Lark Song, a figure in the mid-90s. I just a little bit leery with the break and 9 days. The Bass Racing are very transparent. People can check out the Bass Racing website on the morning of the races, and they usually are very forthright about the well-being and chances of their horses. So I'd be interested to see if Amaya actually is cranked up and ready to run back to that figure or even improve on it, because if she can, then that money could be spot on. So those were the 4 that I put in, but for wider perms, I Stedford, maybe a bit of a chance. Gin Palace is a live runner. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts there, Andrew. Yo Lekkerdin, extremely erratic, and the Marshall Yard has been chilly, but on back form would have some sort of a chance. Money Extractor, I think, might find it hard. So got away with a perfectly judged ride by Michelle last time to hold on at Durbanville, but this is tougher. And I've made mention of Adam Marcus and the very cleverly campaigned mare Dream Searcher, who's won 8 times from 28 starts. He's placed her very, very well. Wouldn't be surprised with the claiming Appy if gets involved for a share place contender, but didn't make my top 4 shortlist. So that's that's a bit long-winded, but it's a hard race. You can make cases for many.
Yeah, I concur completely. Trappy race, and I just think I found a bit of value at the bottom of the boards. I put up one of these. Again, you only mentioned the Ride of the Death, but I'm getting used to that now. I think you're copying me most of the time. I'm not sure what to make of Amaya. I mean, I thought she was being fairly decent. She won 2 in a trot, and then changed legs last time, short, didn't really get home. There must have been an issue. I mean, they did put the money down from 5-1 into 2-1, and she fluffed the lines. But I'm just worried. I mean, October and then January, February, April. I don't think. She's a lovely filly out of Vercingetorix and River Jetez that Candice and her dad trained all those years back for Marsh. I mean, so they know the family, and I'd like to see her come back to full form. And I think always thought she would be better in the winter, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Put up number 3, Gin Palace, double figures each way. I mean, I just like the run behind Music of the Night, just behind them, hanging out late. I mean, her course and distance form is impeccable. She's 2 from 2 over course and distance, run twice at the track. She beat South of France before and now is in receipt of weight on that run. Too many horses are right on top of each other. Thetford's beneath the cloud. That beneath the clouds, there's a couple of vet there. I surmise and I should imagine there's going to be a decent pace because number 1 is carrying 49 kilograms with Edwin Muller, the apprentice, on board, drawn 1. I mean, last start, she went to the front as filly out of a while and also just didn't get home. We now are stepping up in trip, so I don't know, he might ride her differently, but she's held on the South of France run. And Gin Palace holds South of France on one of the runs, and they all are mixed up. And Hampstead Heath, ran a cracker last time to just get home from the fast finishing Maritzburg memory. But Hampstead Heath, I'm just worried about the trip. I mean, 3 starts, not a place from 3 runs over the distance. I mean, she's even tried further. She ran a decent race behind Reed Petit that day. It was a smallish field. I'm just found a bit of value. And I think at 16-1, you might even get 20-1, 4-5-1 a place. For the Andrews, I think they have 2 in the race. The other horse, I do also believe, has a chance, are Stepford, who's shorty in the betting. And in the last 5 starts, 4 places and a 5th, 3 places and 2 fifths just behind them. Hasn't beaten far. JP van der Merwe rides for the Piet Porter yard. But I've gone for the value. I thought at 16-1, I can't get too hurt on number 3, Gin Palace. Drawn 3, Apprentice claims 2.5, brings it down to 57. And if she can bring her course and distance form back to the 2 wins, I think she must have a cracking chance.
Yeah, that's a sound argument, Andrew. You might have convinced me to switch.
No. You Una the unicorn, I know. I can hear in your voice. That's just the draw is a slight little concern for me, Una the unicorn, draw 10. As is Dream Searcher, I mean.
Yeah.
And she has solid form. Ricky Tikitawa came out at the weekend and won. I mean, 3rd run after a rest and be running on late, as she always does. And I think she must have a big chance. I mean, she's 5 wins, a 50% course and distance winner, 5 wins from 10 starts. She must be one for the trifectas and quartets. But I'm not wavering. I'm a gin man. In you go, Gin Palace.
There you go. Then maybe a spread leg for exotic players.
Correct. Nice exactas and trifectas. Move on to race number 6. Racecourse incentives powered by Hollywood Bets, stakes over 1,800 meters. All welcome. All horses are welcome in this one. Race number 6, the betting is 4-1 Master Coiner, 5-1 Midway, 5-1 Etfoliant, 6-1 Gold Index, 7-1 Phantom Man, 10-1 and bettor the rest. Yo. Trappy.
Yeah. Minefield.
There you go. Find us the winner. Sorry, it's me to go first. My turn.
Yes. You're opening the betting here.
Sure.
See the shine of the new ball, please.
Got my thigh pad. I better go back. Thought a massively trappy race, and I'm not going to be unoriginal, and I think the favourite Master Coiner, Callum Murray on board for the McLaughlin Yard number 3, drawn 3, carry 62. I did like the way he did only win his open maiden over 1600, but I think the step up in trip was the key for him. He does come from last, and I think deserves to be favourite. Midway is one of those horses that have been there and thereabouts. 1 win from 20 starts, 9 places. For me, more likely to place than to win. Never been a favourite horse of mine. I think the race will be set up for the McLaughlin yard. I think they do have a stayer in the Coiner. I mean, Exfoliant led and just got nabbed last start. Again, drawn one. He didn't look the correct one in the last time they ran. I mean, he drifted from 4-1 out to 10-1. He did lead. He's led the last 2 times and just hasn't got home. I mean, he hasn't won for 712 days. One of our rules, Marcus. One of our rules.
That's it. Yeah, chronic losers.
And of the rest, Miller Strength, Peter Wrench has 2 runners on the day, bringing them back from raiding in Cape Town. That sounds strange. Raiding. They need the turf. They need the turf. No turf. And I thought the main days, you even drawn 10 would be Phantom Man to Master Coiner. I mean, another one that has liked to lead. And they backed him one day against a horse called Tunguska from the McLaughlin yard. I mean, is it Tunguska McLaughlin or
Main guard.
Main Guard? Main Guard.
Ricky
They put the
Main guard.
lights out. They put the lights out on the horse one day. They did actually back Phantom Man that day from 5-20 to 5-2. Another one that likes to lead, and there might be a speed battle up front with number 1, the number 13 Gold Index drawn badly. Keegan de Mello on board. Does come from slightly off them, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But only 1 place from 5 starts over the distance. Never been placed over course of distance. And drawn 13, even though it's Keegan de Mello on board. And Robbie Barrett, who I rate highly as a new trainer to the ranks.
Sure.
2 for me, Phantom Man and Master Coiner would be my picks in a tricky race.
Yeah. Andrew, they also make it onto my shortlist together with
9 others.
Midway.
Sorry, what is that?
Yeah. That's okay. And Gold Index. I think there is the possibility of a pace meltdown here. There are 5 confirmed frontrunners. You've mentioned them. Etoile Filant is one of them. Kisses, who is a query at the trip, is another who likes to race handy. Smart Horse has been known to lead in the past. Phantom Man is a confirmed frontrunner, as is Double Dash. So I think this is going to require the ability to see out 9 panels properly. And that may well play into the hands of Master Coiner, who has the look of a developing stayer. Midway is a bit of a swing, hard one to catch right, just the 3 wins, but should get the run of the race and has got competitive speed figures. Phantom Man, if he doesn't get hooked up in a insane pace battle, could be dangerous because he's not harshly treated off his merit rating. And just because of the way in which the speed map appears, I would give Gold Index a chance under patient ride by Keegan de Miller, because that's really his forte. He is good on hold-up horses, and I've got tremendous respect for Robbie Barrett. He's done very well to start his career. So those would be the 4 horses that I would suggest. 2, 10, 3, and 13 in a difficult race have dealt ruthlessly with To the Moon and Back. Remember last time I gave a long speech about how it could come to light, and he just failed to even pick up his feet. He was reported as being short behind, so I suppose one should excuse it. People wanting to put in a daft one, may give him another chance. Yeah, those are the 4 that I think have got the biggest claims, but it's a very, very competitive race.
I seem quite a light race for Mr. McLaughlin. He's only got 4 runners here, not 5.
Yeah. No,
I mean, I wonder how
and he
many
can control
sets
the
of
pace.
silks they have. I wonder how many sets of silks they have.
Yes.
That'll be interesting to see. I mean, he's got 5 in the one race. A tough race, Marcus.
Denis Le Breton's an interesting character. I mean, he's been involved in Mauritian racing for decades and decades and decades. He must be one of the longer standing colour holders on the island, and he branched out to the Cape a couple of years ago, and he's had some success. He's flying in to be there on course, and hoping that he'll be able to enjoy some success.
I mean, I remember him giving a big speech off about a winner about a year ago. He doesn't
Yeah,
back his horses. He doesn't back his horses. And generally his horses run better when he's on track. I mean, he must
yeah,
maybe bring them some carrots in the morning or something. I mean, the horses seem to perk up when he's around. And the stable
yeah,
maybe just brings that buzz to the stable.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah,
And it's good. I mean, he certainly increased his horse numbers considerably to what he did have.
yeah, yeah. No, he is committed to racing in the Cape, and Des McLaughlin is a very low key guy. He's a man of few words when he's interviewed in a public forum, but he's got a great sense of humor when you chat to him privately. Very hardworking, very dedicated, and he certainly knows how to train racehorses. He trained a Guineas winner in ethnocentric, and you'll remember from your
Port Elizabeth
PE
days.
days, Hear the Drums, who won, I think, was it 34 consecutive races? A mind-boggling stat, the sprinter, for Peter Fabricius.
Yeah, no. Chiefs, those are old names. I mean,
Yeah,
steeped in racing. His
yes,
cousins and his uncle was a trainer as well.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, he has the pedigree.
yes, that's
And
for
he
sure.
does this. I wonder if he's got, I can't recall of late, does he train for anyone else? I mean, or the other owners I think I've seen one or two other in his, not Denny LeBreton's colours that have run
Yeah,
for him.
yeah. Look, Denny Le Breton, has a controlling interest in the yard and the stable, but there are partners involved in many of the horses. So there are other patrons who participate. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, quite a few of the horses are owned in
Partnership,
partnership
but
with
I
the.
mean in different colours. I mean, just in different colours. I mean, different. Yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
how many he has. I was actually do some research and see how many horses he actually has. Be interesting to take note. We move on swiftly. We're getting through this
mm,
quite decently, Marcus. One
yep.
of our one of the viewers' pet hates that we do waffle a bit and take a bit of time. Sorry, guys. We're moving on. Lucky Fish, Lightning Roulette, Class 5, back to the sprint trip of 1,200 meters. The betting is that very good footballer, Cantona, number
Yes,
3, for and fortunate Paddy Cryer, 4-1, 4-1 Avignon, 4-1 Versicat, 5-1 Commanding, 5-1 Shifting Pass, 6-1 Prince of Tibet, 7-1 Viva Perlay, and the outside of the party, 16-1 number 1 Black Path. Set it up for you.
yes, yes. Karate kick Cantona. That's one way to deal with an abusive heckler. Yes. Yeah. Talking about unusual stats, 43% wins, 71% places. Andrew Fortune riding for Paddy Cryer. In a race like this where they all clustered on speed figures, I couldn't really make head or tail of it. That jockey trainer stat may be of some significance, the Eric the Red filly, Cantona. But she'll need to improve her speed figures a little bit. Look, unfortunately, I didn't have a strong opinion here. Commanding is just a one-time winner from 25, Black Path 3 from 63. Unfortunately, there are a lot of chronic losers here. 6 wins from 57 for Shifting Path, Avignon just 4 from 39, 4 from 38 for Prince of Tibet, and 1 from 27 for Viva Perle. And that raises the alarm bells up. The figures are closely clustered. 84 for Viva Perle, 87 for Avignon and Prince of Tibet, likewise Shifting Path. I'm almost going around in circles here, Andrew. I didn't have, a strong conviction. And for me, this is where you just mark all a field leg. It's a very, very messy, indistinguishable lineups. I've almost the hospital path. I've just ducked. I hope there's a guy outside me to catch it.
I think I might have found a bit of value, and because I'm going to be coppering the top lot. I mean, Cantona carrying 63 deserves to have that weight, obviously with a merit rating of 76. And the
Mhm.
old days You might have to sweat to get to 63, Andrew Fortune, in the old days. But now, I mean, he's crazy
Might
what
have
he's
to
done with his
lose a
weight.
leg, perhaps.
But, I mean, done nothing wrong. She must have had trouble. She only had 4 starts as a 4-year-old. I'm not sure. I mean, she's run against quite strong horses. Last time out, she had an excuse. She got bumped and she was taken wide with the apprentice on board. She now has a strong jockey, Andrew Fortune, on board. Wasn't overly sold on Versicat. I know, even though he's had a win. Gavin Derino on board. He's quite on the Prince of Tibet run with the weights shifting. Avignon had a chance. But my first pick in the race is number 5, Shifting Path. He comes in, he's a 7-year-old. Campaigned him very carefully of late, just behind Prince of Tibet, just behind Gold Dust, and a strongish run last time when there was shrewd money from 16 to 1 into 10 to 1 that day behind Peace of Mind. Just bumped one that day. Has a course and distance win in 5 places, albeit from 20 starts. Has the apprentice on board. Will come in with just under 50 kilograms per galloping weight. Just do hope there is a little bit of pace in the race. Hasn't trained on, for me, as I thought would have. I mean, this 5-year-old son of William Longsword. I mean, again, 108 days since last one. Some patient owners and great for the training ranks. And as you said, Glenn Cotson, stable turning at the moment. Pete Buerta has Avignon on board as well with Apprentice. This horse is probably best of form of late in the race. I mean, 2 wins and 3 places from the last 6 starts. Did fluff his lines, excuse me, behind Klein Carew, but there was a problem early doors. He didn't travel well and the vet checked him out that day. But Viva Pelé, so 7th, 5th, 4th of late. But I look at the course and distance and I look at the distance, 3 places, 3/4 from 9 starts, and give that a bit of a swerve. And why not including trifectas and quartets, as they would say in the classics, an 8-year-old, old lady. She's an 8-year-old mare, probably time to go to stud. Another one coming back from Kuberga, carrying a low weight of 52.5, drawn 1. I did see Peter Wrench wrote on his Facebook page, excuse me while I get this frog out my throat. She's put on 9 kilograms. She's doing well. She's thriving, as you said, I think in a couple of words. She hasn't, another one that hasn't won for a while. And I always thought was better at Durbanville. 2 of her 3 wins came at Durbanville. She has had 60 odd starts. And for the back end of trifectas and quartets, I think this is the kind of horse that can make it pay. But if I was having a bet, I'd be having an each way bet on Shifting Path coming in with a low weight. That suffice for you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Moving on to the lucky last. We're either going to increase our profits or hoping we can get out of it on the day. But I think we're going to be increasing our profits. I think
that's the spirit.
We've chosen wisely today. We move on to the lucky last. Race 8, Bright Future, Class 4, 1,200 meters. The bidding is 13 to 10, Cork Bay. 7 to 2, Lyrical Gangster. 7 to 1, Ferryman. 8 to 1, Like Dynamite, and Catwalk King. 10 to 1, Marseille. Isn't better the rest. I'm going straight in. My arrow for the day. Number 1, Cork Bay. Nalyard, Fortune on board. On Soulgate 1. Let's hope the inside track on the inside is favourable because it can switch on some days and they have to go to the outside. I think this horse has done nothing wrong, albeit being beaten at short prices the last 2 times and has been costly to follow. Andrew back on board. He beat Blind Date, who I thought was a cracking run. The reason I'm so strong on this horse does hold Lyrical Gangster on their last run, even though beaten at the weights. I mean, I thought that last time that Cork Bay would actually beat it. I think with Andrew on board, last time they seemed to get very close together, and I'm not sure that he enjoyed it, the son of Rafif. He has been costly to follow, but I think he's found his form. I think Andrew Fortune is hungry for winners, and I'm expecting a massive run and my arrow for the day. I think probably the main danger, if he comes back to his old form, number 6, Ferryman. I mean, Charlie Bucket came out at the weekend and won again. Marcus Reed is the top horse, and I'm expecting to be there and thereabouts as well. Catwalk King ran in the Langerman as well. Solid enough horse, 2 wins and a place from 6 starts. Keegan the Mellow drawn 10. if the going's on the outside, would be a massive runner. That's the horse that could be anything. I think his running is much stronger as well. But I'm going for the tried and tested team, Kenilworth with Andrew Fortune on board.
This is a fascinating race. Class 4, 1200 meters. When I wrote my column, narrowed it down to Lyrical Gangster against Cork Bay. As you correctly point out, Cork Bay is better off at the weights. I thought Lyrical Gangster, though, was full value for its last win because he was drawn wider, got caught out a little bit off the rail, and then won full of running, though the Cork Bay was brushed late. So just think that Lyrical Gangster really is bang in form, and it has been earning some really good speed figures. So initially I was leaning that way. And then I checked out the betting, and there's a horse at 20-1 or better that I think is the wrong price. And that's follow your heart. And my logic is that he now is entitled to get closer at the weights to those two main protagonists, Lyrical Gangster and Cork Bay. And that was a neat last run. He just petered out the last 100 or so when he moved up as if he could potentially win it. And if you assess him on the run to Flying Finley, then Follow Your Heart is a significant player here. 20-1 to me is, there's no ways he should be 7 times the price of Lyrical Gangster, or 18 times the price of Cork Bay. So hence I've advised him as the each way tickle in the last. I don't like the fact that he's just won 1 from 11. He's a hard horse to win with, but the one victory that he does have to his name is over Star Major. Can you believe it? The different trajectories that their careers took, and Star Major, as a Group 1 winning horse, and Follow Your Heart is campaigning off a merit rating of 83. But a nice last start. If he decides to run back to the form to either our old friend Gold Jabowski or that run to Flying Finley, then I think he'll definitely outrun his odds. So that's my take on it. The other horses will Ferryman coming back after rest and gelding. Will be interesting to see how he goes. Catwalk King will need to boost his speed figures a bit, but he does have a course and distance victory over to his name. He won the Somerset. But yeah, for me, it's Follow Your Heart as the value play over Lyrical Gangster and Cork Bay. You might want to. Marseille is also one that might improve. So that's one to use in the lowest slots of tries and quartets, because he's not far off Red Spice, who ran a tremendous race in a juvenile feature at Greyville recently, coming from the back of the field. One to follow because of long range Guineas prospect trained by Peter and Albert Stein. But yeah, I think those are the contenders that we've covered. And 20
like Dynamite,
20-1,
we haven't mentioned.
Like Dynamite, yeah. One in the slop on a day, I think, when racing was abandoned shortly after. So it's very difficult to do speed figures. The track was conditioned, and so it was hard to assess a proper track variant. The number that eventually I came up with, Andrew, is a bit short of what it takes to shape at this level. But I mean, he won by half the racecourse, but not for me tomorrow. And also, the Marshall Yard has been a bit chilly. Ozzy Noach, with all respect, is a low percentage rider. Very fit guy, very hard-working guy, but he doesn't ride too many winners. So I passed on Luck Dynam.
I think it's a decent enough race to ken the day, and I think Lyrical Gangster and Cork Bay always seem to fight it out, and yours Follow Your Heart. I think that's one of your pets. I think you have mentioned it once or twice before.
He better shine up on Wednesday, because otherwise I'll have to turn ruthless again and kick him into touch properly.
Oh, I did that with holding thumbs. Please don't mention the war. 441 days since last one. Yeah, that's why he's 20-1, and that's why we're looking to find a bit of value. On his best runs,
Yeah.
I think must have his flouts. But I think they'll be chasing Mr. Mana Fortune. So he has a few winners. The Candy Man. A very interesting afternoon's racing. Is it going to be the Snaith show, or are there going to be a few results? That's I mean, he has just about 4 favourites to begin with. I don't think a couple of second favourites could be. I wouldn't. I'll put it this way: I wouldn't want to be the cat at home if if one or two of them go missing. I mean, it's just that kind of. But it's that kind of card. He can. I mean, we had it the other day with Mark de Kock. He had the first 3 winners in the tail, done and dusted. Went
Yes,
home after 3 winners. I mean, and it looks not too bookmaker friendly card. That's
yeah,
for a couple of races, the important races. I mean, there'll be a few shorties, and then we'll have a lot of value later. Try and find the value, and I think there'll be. It all depends on the first 2 races. If there'll be a lot of multiples going forward,
yes,
and interesting to see the most expensive racehorse at the moment in South Africa on South African purchase prices, because Mrs.
yes,
Platinum does have more expensive horses, and there are a few more imported horses that have cost more than 9 million rand. But it's a big
yes,
chunk of change, and I've always thought, if I'm going to spend so much money, I want my horse to win first time. If they're spending so much money, even though everyone says it's the long game, it's a chunk of change, 9 million rand. But nice afternoon. I think it would be decent exotics. Just remember, if you want to bet on Interbet, they do have
yes.
fixed odd platform where you can take multiples as well. You can play on the tote. It's a one-stop shop, sports betting, and it's a tool that I do use a lot to monitor where the money is, both ways actually, where the horses have shortened and where the horses have drifted at the moment. I mean, there seems to be quite a lot of that. There seems to be quite a lot of value out there at the moment. I mean, horses
Yeah,
are going double the prices that they start that are in the morning. So just be aware of that, and they're going the other way as well. A lot of horses are shortening off the boards, but a
that's
cracking
Andrew.
afternoon's racing.
Yeah, that's a very pertinent comment that you've made. The market has been a lot more lively in recent times. Obviously, you can see volumes traded on the Interbet exchange, but it's the price fluctuations that have been quite significant, with some big drifters. And doesn't mean they can't win. And then obviously, the market springers where horses shorten quite drastically. So I think it is important for the punters following the show just to be particularly alert and to try to get the best odds available, because in the long run, that makes a huge difference. If you're getting overlay odds, so you have to monitor things closely. And then the other thing I would encourage people to do is just to have the courage of their convictions. So if you like a horse and it drifts somewhat, then don't be deterred. Certainly don't switch. Still, stick to your opinion and try and capitalize at more generous prices.
I've said before, I've mentioned this before. I mean, there are a couple of big syndicates out there that seem to push and pull the market the way
Yeah.
that they see the horses are going to run. And I mean,
Yes.
even they have stop losses on certain horses, because sometimes a horse that they fancy, that they'll make a 3-1 shot will go 6-1, 7-1. Um, and they would probably have more on at the value, but they do have a stop loss where eventually I
Yes.
say, oops, something doesn't seem right here. Maybe he missed
Yeah.
his breakfast or something like that. And they'll still be on, but they won't crush it
Yeah.
as they would have think they would continue betting. They
Good
do
point.
have stop losses, and but the markets have been very, very volatile of late, both ways actually. I mean, and a horse doesn't know its price. That we've always got to
Yeah.
remember, or how
Yeah.
much he cost, or she cost.
Yes. Yes. That's very true.
And the slow ones eat just as much as the quick ones. The training bull don't get cheaper if you have a
Yeah.
slow one.
Yeah. And unfortunately, some of the slow ones seem less susceptible to injury. I know that might be a slightly cynical take, but it's, you get the
They don't
plodders
overexert
that
themselves.
they don't exactly, they don't overexert themselves. They don't do much to trouble their limbs and joints, whereas the fleet-footed ones are more vulnerable to injury. And that's where the skills of the trainer and the conditioner come in, how they manage and harness the talents of the horses, keep them sound, but at the same time, crank them up and get them
Push
fit
them
enough
to their limits.
Yeah, it's an art. Training is a real art. There's science involved now, obviously,
Sure.
with all the technologies that are available, but it still requires very, very canny judgment preparing thoroughbred racehorses.
Thank you once again, Mr. Van Deventer. Hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. Find a few winners, stay safe and be lucky, and I'll be chatting to you soon.
Thanks, Andrew. Always fun. Take good care, and all the best to the punters out there. Hope they have a really enjoyable day at Kenilworth and can turn a profit.
That's the most important.
Yep. Be well.